A year ago, in a conference, Money Power in Politics, the Vice President of India, M. Venkaiah Naidu, highlighted Indian experience with democracy as a remarkable success story. He also pointed out two distortions which needed urgent attention. The first one was the enormous use of money in politics and election, and the second one was the increasing attempts to entice the voters under short-term benefits at the cost of governance, which was adversely affecting the long term interest of the poor and the middle class family. Hi, myself Ishika, and in this presentation, I'll be talking about the Election Commission of India and why there was a need of electoral reforms in our country. So let's get started. Now, if we talk about Indian democracy, India is a vibrant democracy with people electing their representatives at several levels, beginning from the local bodies and panchayat to the parliament. India has a parliamentary system of governance which is based on Britain's Westminster model of constitutional democracy. Election in India seek overwhelming popular participation where electoral candidates try to woo their voters by promising long-term reforms such as better governance, greater socio-economic equity, poverty alleviation, etc. However, corrupt politicians with criminal records, caste and religious based politics, and allegations of vote buying have defeated the very purpose of such democratic process. Before talking about electoral reforms undertaken, it is very important for us to know what is the role of Election Commission of India. The Election Commission of India is a constitutional body responsible for administrating election in India according to the rules and regulations mentioned in the Constitution of India. It was established on January 25, 1950. The major aim of the Election Commission of India is to define and control the process of election conducted at various levels, parliament, state legislatures, and the offices of the President and the Vice President of India. It can be said that the Election Commission of India ensures the smooth and successful operation of the democracy. Now, if we'll talk about issues in electoral politics in our country, there are a lot of problems, but let's have a look at the most prominent ones. Money power. In every constituency, candidates have to spend crores of rupees for campaigning, publicity, etc., and the most candidates far exceed the permissible limit of expenses. There are three drivers of expenditure in election. They are legitimate electioneering cost, party running cost, and the TV airtime cost. According to the report of the National Commission to Review the Working of the Constitution (NCRWC), high cost of election creates a high degree of compulsion for corruption in the public areas. Now, if we look into the muscle power, in certain part of our country, there are widespread reports of illegal and untoward incidents during polling, such as the use of violence, intimidation, booth capturing, etc. Criminalization of politics and politicization of criminals go hand in hand. Criminals enter into politics and ensure that money and muscle power wins them election, so that the cases against them are not proceeded with. Political parties are also happy as long as they have winnable candidates. Political parties field criminals in election for fund and in return provide them with political patronage and protection. Misuse of government machinery. There is a general opinion that the party in power uses government machinery, such as using government vehicles for canvassing, advertisements at the cost of exchequer, disbursement out of dictionary funds at the disposal of the minister, and other such means to improve the chances of their candidate winning. Casteism. There are cases of certain caste group lending strong support to particular political parties. Thus, political parties make offers to win over different caste groups, and caste groups also try to pressurize parties to offer tickets for their members' election. Voting on caste lines is prevalent in the country, and this is a serious blotch on democracy and equality. This also creates rift in the country. Now, if we talk about communalism, communal polarization poses a serious threat to the Indian politic ethos of pluralism, secularism, and federalism. Up next, we have lack of moral values in politics. The political corruption in India has led to politics becoming a business. People enter the political arena for making money and retaining their money and power for a longer period of time. There are very few leaders who enter politics to make a difference in life of their people. The Gandhian value of service and sacrifice are missing from the Indian political scene right now. Electoral reforms in India. It is generally accepted that while the first three general elections were held in a free and fair manner, a plummeting of standards started during the fourth general elections in 1967. Many considered the electoral system in the country as a basis of political corruption. A rise of corruption was seen in elections, due to which there was a need for electoral reforms. Electoral reforms undertaken by authorities can broadly be divided into two categories, pre-2000 and post-2000, and both of them are discussed in the below section. Let's have a look at the electoral reforms taken place before 2000. Lowering of voting age. The 61st Amendment Act to the Constitution reduced the minimum age for voting from 21 to 18 years. Deputation to Election Commission. All personnel working in preparing, revising, and correcting the electoral rolls for election shall be considered to be the deputation to the Election Commission for the period of such employment, and they shall be superintended by the Election Commission. Increase in the number of proposers and the security deposit. The number of electors required to sign as proposers in the nomination papers for election to the Rajya Sabha and the State Legislative Council have been raised to 10% of the electors of the constituency or 10 such electors, whichever is less, chiefly to prevent frivolous candidates. Electronic voting machine. First introduced in 1998 during the state elections of Delhi, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan, EVMs are used widely now as they are foolproof, efficient, and a better option in terms of the environment. Disqualification on conviction for violating the National Honours Act 1971. This shall lead to disqualification of the person for 6 years from contesting to the Parliament and the state legislatures. Restriction on contesting from more than two constituencies. A candidate cannot contest from more than two constituencies. Death of a contesting candidate. Previously, the election was contramanded on the death of a contesting candidate. In the future, no election will be contramanded on the death of a contesting candidate. If the deceased candidate, however, was set up by a recognized national or a state party, then the party concerned will be given an option to nominate another candidate within 7 days of the issue of a notice to that effect to the party concerned by the Election Commission. Prohibition on sale of liquor. No liquor or other intoxicants shall be sold or given or distributed at any shop, eating places, or any other place, whether private or public, within a polling area during the period of 48 hours, ending with the hour fixed for the conclusion of poll. Time limit for by-election. By-elections to any House of Parliament or a state legislature will now be held within 6 months of the occurrence of the vacancy of that House. Now let's have a look at the electoral reforms undertaken after 2000. Ceiling on election expenditure. At present, there is no limit on the amount a political party can spend in an election or on a candidate. But the Commission has put a cap on individual candidates' spending. For the Lok Sabha election, it is 50 to 70 lakh and rupees 20 to 28 lakh for an assembly election. Restriction on exit polls. The Election Commission issued a statement before the 2019 Lok Sabha elections saying that exit poll results could be broadcast only after the final phase of the elections were over. This was done to avoid prospective voters being misguided or prejudiced in any manner. Awareness creation. The government decided to observe January 25th as National Voters' Day to mark the Election Commission's founding day. Political parties need to report any contribution in excess of Rs 20,000 to the Election Commission for claiming income tax benefits. Up next, we have voting through the postal ballot. In 2013, the Election Commission decided to expand the ambit of postal ballot voting in the country. Previously, only the Indian staff in mission abroad and defense personnel in limited ways could vote via postal ballot. Now there are six categories of voters who can use the postal ballots: service voters, special voters, wives of service voters and special voters, voters subjected to preventive detention, voters on election duty, and notified voters. Apart from all this, what all changes can be made to fix this problem? There is a need of fixing governance system and effective regulation of political financing, along with bold reforms to break the vicious cycle of corruption and erosion of quality of democratic quality. It is crucial to plug the loopholes in the current laws to make the entire governance machinery more accountable and transparent. Linking votes with tangible consequences. Long term empowerment of local bodies, localized power must be done so that people could see the changes happening immediately at their level and could actualize and understand the value of vote. This could inhibit getting freebies tendency amongst people. Also, the local bureaucracy must be made accountable and held responsible so that their burden is not borne by the political parties. As per the statistics, the annual burden on political party workers to indirectly maintain an assembly consequences amount to rupees 3 to 4 crores. This gave birth to strong nexus between party workers and bureaucracy, who made in lieu of giving money, takes petty contracts, police cases, intervention, and etc., leading to the abuse of administrative process. A voters forfeit the right to question the government when he or she compromises on moral values and accept gifts or cash for his or her vote. Therefore, citizens must vote in election based on character, conduct, caliber, and capability of the candidate, and not based on cash, caste, community, etc. This could be the ultimate solution to check the money power in the politics. Now we reach the end of the presentation. It is an accepted fact that the electoral process in the country has developed certain shortcomings over the years which needed to be corrected. But this should have been done through extensive debates and discussion and in a gradual and continuous manner. Successive government at the center have realized the importance of the issue relating to the electoral reforms. Suggestions made either by the Election Commission or by the various committees on electoral reforms from time to time have been regularly considered and also implemented. While considering the proposals and suggestion of the reforms of the electoral process, it has also been underlined that consensus of political parties in the country is necessary. Government recognize the electoral reforms in a continuous process, and it shall be endeavor of all the stakeholders including government, Election Commission of India, Law Commission, etc., to implement such proposals on electoral reform in which consensus emerges from time to time. At last, I would like to thank my professor, Dr. Chandrakanta ma'am, for providing me with such a tremendous opportunity to express my views on such a topic on this platform. And thank you for watching.